Okay, Nadcao is the National Alliance for the Development of Community Advice Officers. It was formed essentially in 2005, and it's an alliance of human rights organizations that provide support and services to community advice officers. Now, the alliance was formed in 2005 because the community advice officers were finding themselves in a crisis. They've been around for decades, providing services to poor people, legal information, advice, services in terms of helping them with housing issues, with personal issues, finance issues, and legal issues. And in 2005, what was happening was, at that stage, a lot of international donors were withdrawing from South Africa, and that was the traditional support base for community advice officers.
The One-to-One Advice Office has been existing since the early 1982-83s, during the apartheid era. With Nadcao, we're working to long-term sustainability and also trying to standardize all the advice officers and especially professional services to the community.
Nadcao is hosted institutionally by the Black Sash Trust. It receives funding from the CS Mott Foundation and Atlantic Philanthropy. We also work in partnership with Legal Aid South Africa. We have a number of engagements with the Department of Justice and increasingly with a number of government departments. And the idea is to unlock and leverage resources so that they can essentially become part of the long-term sustainability plan for the advice centres.
The mandate and role of Legal Aid South Africa is to provide legal assistance to poor persons. Community advice officers are actually critical to communities, especially poor communities, who often have no idea of how to respond to the many challenges that they face.
Zonal Advice Center was established in 1982. We've been inundated with clients who have been illegally evicted from their homes.
Isizathu esangiletha uBrazil wayesethumele abantu ukuthi ngiphume ngoJuni ngiqeda kushonela ubaba wakwami ngingakwazi ukukhuluma ngingakwazi kwenzana.
We now have to deal with the HIV issues. We have to deal also with the labor matters. We have to deal with housing problems, disability grants, mediation, gender violence, and many more issues that affect the community.
People often come to the advice office because it's a community-based advice office, and people are more at ease speaking to one of their own.
People find it very comforting to know that there's an organization down the road that is staffed, managed and run by people who come from the community in which they work, who've got empathy for the issues that they face and who understand the impact that a legal or personal issue can have on their lives.
For people on the ground to understand democracy, they must understand the advice offices first. This is where everything starts. This is what we call the shock absorbers of the communities, because any piece of legislation that comes into place, the advice offices must know about that, and then they must take it to the people down there.
Historically, community advice officers have been organic institutions. They emerge from within communities who identify a need. They then establish an infrastructure, they raise money, and they have people that manage their centres. We believe fundamentally that if you're going to be sustainable, the first area of support that you need to be able to derive resources from is from your own community. And so what we're trying to establish with the sustainability model is that the offices are firstly able to sustain their core operations from within the local community and then add funding to that from either government or other sources.
The advice office was formed in 1997. It was the idea of one of the Catholic priests after a French priest. With the recycling project, we asked community to collect waste from the dumping site or sort it from their homes and bring it here. And we take their waste and we sell it and we make money out of it. We can run the administration of the center, besides money for salaries or stipend, but money for the administration.
Sustainability is also about skills, it's about competencies and capacity. It's the ability to manage money that you've been able to raise, to be able to account for it and to report for it accurately, and to be able to spend it in a responsible manner. At the end of the day, our main objective and our main goal is to ensure the long-term sustainability of the advice offices. And so all our efforts are focused on ensuring that the partnerships that we build and the relationships that we cultivate provide those resources to the advice centers.
It takes an extraordinary person to be a community-based paralegal. Just to see a person saying, thank you, you have assisted me, really keeps us going.
Bangiduduza uBheki noLucia, gogo sinawe ngaso sonke isikhathi.
We are not funded. Maybe some of us have been going for about 9 years now without a salary, but the pleasure to see our people having access to justice, having access to healthcare, having access to housing, it's more than money can count for. This is what motivates us.